Welcome to the March meeting for the Historic District Board of Review. Brooke, you want to do roll call?
Well, Thomas Stark,
Here.
Jerome Vernon, Owen McCall,
Here.
Mike Pittman,
Here.
and Josh Wilbur.
Here. All right, did everybody get a copy of the minutes for last month? Any
Yes.
suggestions, corrections, changes, opinions? If hearing none, I know Mike, you weren't here last month. We won't have a quorum to vote on this. Can we wait for the vote until next month?
Yes, we can
We'll
postpone.
put that in another meeting, so we'll postpone the vote on the
We'll have
minutes.
to have a motion to do that.
All right, well.
Sorry.
Okay, can I get a motion to wait till next month to approve the minutes as well?
I move to move the approval of the February minutes to next month's meeting in April.
I second.
Josh Wilbur,
Approve.
Thomas Stark,
Approve.
Mike Pittman,
Approve.
and Owen McCall.
Approve. All right, so now we'll go into our review of the applications, just to make sure everyone knows how the process goes. I will call the number and address of the application. I would need a member that is representing the application to come up to the podium, state your name and your address, not the address necessarily of the application, but whatever your address is. And then at that point in time, Brooke will go over the summary of the project that's at hand. And then after she is done, I will give the applicant a chance to add anything to that for the board to consider. Then at that point, the board will ask questions of the application. Then we'll give the chance for any member of the public to ask any questions or voice any of their concerns over the application. And then at that point, we will do a findings of fact, and we will go through the findings of fact on the application, and then take a vote for approval or disapproval of the certificate of appropriateness. So with that, we'll start with the first application, which is 411 Dow Street.
Well, if you don't mind, I just do want to note that 815, 817 was withdrawn on Friday afternoon.
Okay. All right.
Brian Marshall, 201 Plum Street.
Sorry,
Can you turn that mic on? Just press there. Thank you, sir.
our recorder's having technical difficulties.
It's all right. We'll start when you get a new one. Do you have a new one?
No, it's, someone had borrowed it, and so it wasn't set up correctly.
Gotcha.
All right, there we go. So this application by Brian Marshall is regarding a circa 1980 modern movement ranch style non-contributing home zoned district residential. The COA request is to build an 8 foot by 24 foot addition on the southeast corner of the structure. And the applicant has provided several photos that you can look at. Kind of a site plan, if you can see, I know it's hard to see with black and white, but the addition will go in that front right corner of the home. If you see the, kind of the rectangular box there. And this is the actual site plan, of course, showing the dimensions and to the property lines. A rendering of what it will look like, and that is all I have.
Brian, do you have anything to add to the application?
Well, on the application I put wood windows, but they're going to cost like 3.5 times more than vinyl, so I would really like to put vinyl windows in instead, since it is non-contributing house.
Are you getting a base grant for this?
Yes.
What was that? I didn't get. He's
Yes.
yes, he's not base grant. Okay. So what, can you explain the purpose of adding the new addition?
Well, that east end, it's got foundation problems and it's kind of sagging down. So we were just gonna tear that off and then build the new. But inside, it's less than 12 foot wide. 80% of the home is less than 12 foot wide. So it's just, I think it's probably a reason why it's been neglected. It's just not livable space, but this would fix all that.
And what materials were used on the exterior?
Smart siding, and then we wanted to do like 2 to 3 foot of the stone on the bottom. Metal roof.
When you say metal, you don't mean like barn metal with exposed fasteners, right? You mean a standing seam?
Yes, standing seam. Yeah.
Okay.
Brooke,
Yes.
I'm assuming that wood windows were pre-approved because they're not on this application?
Correct. There was a staff COA issued for siding, windows, and standing seam.
And wood windows, not vinyl, correct?
Correct, wood.
So then what would we need to do tonight during this discussion? I mean, do we need to file a new application for vinyl windows?
No, he is allowed to amend his application
Right here,
here at the
okay.
meeting. So the staff COA can stand, and that way it would give him that option to still install wood if
Okay.
he so chooses. And the board would take up, obviously, the vinyl option.
What brand of vinyl have you decided on that, the brand of vinyl windows?
It would come from ABC Supply in New Albany. I'm not really sure.
Because there's, there's vinyl windows and there's vinyl windows,
Look, what kind of warranties on that, Brian, on those vinyl windows?
I don't know.
And I think if you assume they're, thermal paint.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got a good warranty on it, that would, I mean, if it's a 10-year warranty, that's not good.
Yeah.
If it's a lifetime warranty, that's a good vinyl window, so.
I'll make sure they're good. I plan on holding on to the house, so it's not like I'm gonna just be trying to flip it or whatever.
Do we have a sample of the vinyl windows that you want to put in?
No.
Have you used them before?
Yes.
You've used those kind of windows
Yeah.
before? Any issues with them at all?
Where have you used them at, Ryan?
1015 East Street and 946 Saddle Tree Lane.
And you got approval from the board for those?
That was quite a few years ago.
Okay. Sorry, I guess I shouldn't have put you on the spot, I'm sorry.
Do you remember how many?
Bad.
Yeah.
Trying to get an idea of how good they are.
6 windows on 1015 and
Yeah.
6 windows on 1017. They're identical houses, and then it's a 3 apartment building at 946. So
Mhm.
it was 15, 16 windows in that one.
Okay. 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
I'd say about 12 years ago on the East Street properties, and 8 to 9 years ago on 946 Saddle Tree.
So Brian, you're putting standing seam on the whole house, right?
Correct.
Okay, not just on the addition. And hardy board on the whole house, not just the addition.
Yeah, it's the smart siding.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Smart siding, my fault, yes. What about doors? Are you adding a door here for the addition?
Yes.
Okay, and what kind of door will that be?
Hadn't really put a whole lot of thought into that. It'd be something nice, but probably metal or fiberglass.
Metal or fiberglass?
What was approved on the application?
I can pull the exact COA up, but I know it was the standing seam roof, wood windows, and I believe it was LP Smart Siding.
Door wasn't on there. So that would be an amendment
No.
to,
So it was, replace existing T111 siding with LP Smart siding, replace the shingle roof with a standing seam metal roof, replace existing windows with new aluminum clad wood windows of same size and shape.
so it was aluminum clad wood windows that you were going for, not just wood, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Have you checked into the price for just plain wood windows?
No,
Would you consider doing that?
I would consider it. Just with the aluminum clad was like 3.5 times more expensive, and, yeah, I hadn't really thought about wood only, but just looking for a maintenance-free.
Yeah.
It was 3.5 times more expensive than vinyl. You've already priced the vinyl.
Correct, yes.
My issue is just the fact that you're getting a PACE grant with it. And, you know, going vinyl, and when the intention was aluminum clad, and I'm sure that's probably what the PACE grant committee was,
Oh, they never even asked.
they didn't ask, okay. You know, normally that's what they would want the money to go towards, is, you know, things that historic board would normally, material that historic board would normally
Right.
approve, right?
This house is so non-contributing though.
How many windows are there, Brian?
There was 6, now there'll be 7.
So there's only 2 more other than what we're seeing there?
Yes.
On the back, probably the back side?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the price difference? Like, you said 3.5 times more, but like, what's that mean, money-wise?
Like 250 versus 925 per window.
And how much PACE grant did you get?
I believe the full amount was 25.
1,000? So door-wise, you'll go fiberglass or metal, right?
I'd like to, but I would consider wood if that's what it took.
Well, I mean, it's your application, I can't tell you.
I would rather go fiberglass.
Okay. Okay, that's, I just want,
Absolutely.
because what we have to consider is what you're wanting, so.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Any questions, concerns from the public? All right, hearing none. Tom, you want to take us through findings of fact?
Sure.
Thank you.
So for your addition on page 68 in the residential guidelines and planning additions, the best approach is to site the additions where they will not be visible from the street, or that where they will have the least effect on the building's overall form and plan. The rear of the buildings is the best locations for the additions of rooms, wings, porches, or decks enlarging a property. Through adding additional stories is not appropriate except at the roof lines, rear roof lines, which are not readily visible. So your house is non-contributing, and I don't think that that really is a concern for where it's located and because it is non-contributing. Additions to historic homes should be located at the rear of the building and not on the fronts or the sides. So we just discussed that. And then 2 through 6, additions should be secondary. And then this is simpler and smaller. Additions should be compatible design. It is compatible with the design of the current structure in terms of roof shape, materials, color, location of windows, doors, and cornice heights. Additions should not imitate earlier historical styles. You're not doing that. The recommended approach is for the additions to reflect characteristics of the current period in design, but compatible with the original building. You're doing that. To avoid extensive removal, damage, or loss of historic materials, additions should keep the exterior walls of the original building as intact as possible using the existing door, window openings for connecting to the addition. not sure that really applies with this addition, so I think that that one's fine as well. Do I need to cover the roof, doors and windows? Okay.
Well, the roof has been approved.
Oh, the roof was approved, that's right.
Okay.
Sorry. But the door,
So doors.
windows, yep.
So, let me, you know what, I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, the doors, and then like we have.
I think it's what,
Doors,
metal or wood, right?
Here, I have it for
Right, there
your
you go.
application,
Oops.
so
Not
there's
that one,
doors.
there you go.
Oh, great. Doors are often building central visual elements and are particularly important features. They should be retained, maintained, and if needed, repaired. Missing or severely deteriorated doors should be replaced with historically appropriate replacements. Screen, storm, and security doors should not detract from the historic appearance of the building. And that doesn't really apply to this structure. Historic doors should be retained and preserved. This is not a historic door.
It's actually not one there, right?
Correct.
Because this is on the new addition.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is one on the original structure.
Facing
right?
421, yes.
Yeah.
And are you replacing that one too?
It should be, yeah, it's pretty rough.
So you are replacing it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
metal.
sorry. So
Yes.
I told him I just wanted to make sure you were.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Replacement doors should be wood, with or without glass, slides, or complement the style of the house. And we have approved wood, and we've also approved steel. I don't know that we've approved any fiberglass.
We do approve
Have-
fiberglass.
Have we?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've got one.
okay. Fiberglass
Yeah,
windows
there's a-
or doors as well. Deteriorated or damaged historic doors should be repaired using methods that allow them to retain their historic appearance. That's not really applicable. Replacement doors should be maybe painted or paneled wood with or without multiple clear glass openings. So you didn't, is your door gonna be solid or will you have a single glass pane or multiple?
I would like to have glass in there, but it's not, I'm not stuck on it. I just think they look quite a bit better.
Just a single one or more? What are you thinking?
Oh, I like the upper, like the shaker style, not the full 9-light, but the square up top.
Like the rectangle there at
Yeah.
the top? Okay. Okay.
So, I think for the most part, for your doors, I feel comfortable with you moving forward with the approach that you have. Now, can you pull up
There's
windows?
Windows is right there.
Yeah. So, windows are prominent building components. Historic windows should be retained, maintained, and if needed, repaired. Original windows should be preserved in their original size, location, and design with the original materials and number of panes. It looks to me from your plan that you are planning to, when you add the additional windows, they will be the same size as the others. It's an addition, so obviously the location's going to be a little different. Windows should not be added to the primary facade. Again, since this is not a non-contributing structure, I don't know that it applies. And windows should be repaired rather than replaced. You're not repairing, you're adding. So I don't think that that applies. What does apply is baked enamel, let's try that a third time, enamel or anodized aluminum windows, so aluminum clad wood or wood windows may be appropriate. Vinyl or vinyl clad wood windows should not be installed on any facade visible from street views. So, well, there's more. Okay.
Yeah.
With that said, I would really like for you to consider, I know you said that it was 3 times the amount using aluminum clad. I'd like for you to price wood windows at least. Original metal windows in the 20th century buildings should be preserved, maintained, or replaced with new metal windows. That's not applicable. I think you're doing, and correct me if I'm wrong, 1/1, one pane of glass over one pane of glass, or are you doing multiple panes?
No, just double pane.
Okay. Then number 5 doesn't apply because those are referring to snap-on buttons that you put in the window, and they do not effectively replicate the appearance of a historic button and should not be used, and that's not applicable. Screens or storm covers should fit within the window and not overlap the frame. That doesn't really apply. Security bars should not be used where visible from the street, and you're not planning on having any security bars. So I think we're good there. I think everything is fine except the material that you want to use for the windows. And I'm in agreement with Josh that you know, we're really pleased with the tackling this job. I mean, inside and out. I saw the black and white split. Looking at the color, you've got a lot of work. But I would like for you to consider a different material other than vinyl.
Okay.
Mike?
I agree with most of what Tom said. I think as far as the vinyl windows go, if he has not had any problem, he's used them before, and he's got good use out of them, I would say 12 years. I'd like to know what the guarantee is, if we get it, Brian, just see if we can get that on, see if you can get that to us. But I'm sure the pricing of the wood windows is going to be quite a bit higher, but you can, you know, if you want to get it, that's fine too. But I have no issue with it, and I agree with Tom on everything else.
Oh,
Okay, well, my view is that since this is not a historic structure, and more about historic preservation, not appearance committee, that ordinarily I would say vinyl would be fine for this structure. But since this, you received a great big PACE grant, and that committee is assuming that their money is going towards high quality materials, you know, what we normally have. And for that reason, I feel like you should not go with the vinyl.
So, Brian, I tend to agree. I mean, the PACE money, I mean, we're talking probably another $1,000, you know, because it's 7 windows, 150 more per window, you know, maybe another 1,000. I know it's not where you want to put necessarily your money. I know where you're trying to put your money in all the best places to make this a nice home. But just because you would be utilizing those funds, and that's really important to me, very important to me. I would rather you do aluminum clad. At the very least, I think wood will probably be more than aluminum clad, but that's, you know, probably the case. Because most of the time, like with Owen, I would say, you know, non-contributing structure, probably vinyl. If you hadn't got a PACE grant, maybe could see that. So that's, you know, everything else though. I will say the standing seam metal roof that you're doing is a major upgrade. It's a lot of money for a standing seam roof. You know, the LP Smart Siding is a great, you know, improvement on the outside of the house. The things you're doing with this overall, don't take what we're saying any differently than we, you know, I think we're all extremely pleased. You're taking this house, you're making it something so much nicer, and especially that area of the city right now, you know, needing some more help. You're doing a great job there. So if this is all we can find is, you know, seven windows that, you know, we want you to do some, hopefully you take that, you know, to the heart too. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that, well, let me ask a question first.
Yes.
Would you consider going back to aluminum clad or wood windows before I make the motion?
I would consider it, yes.
Okay,
Well,
well,
I mean,
no, we
that is the
that's the
application.
application, yes.
Yeah.
We're voting on the application, right?
So if we're voting
well,
on
it
the
just depends.
application-
It depends though, guys. Are you amending your application to go vinyl, or are you amending your application to stay aluminum clad? Because at the end of the day, we have to vote on one thing. We can't vote on, hey, just in case. So what is it that you want to do there, Brian?
So if I amend it and it gets voted down, would I have to come back through the whole process?
If it's not approved, then you would have to come back and actually, you know, file another application. That's the chance you take, yes.
It'll be in the fall before we're actually putting these windows in, so I.
You know, and the other thing is, if you wanted to take the windows out for now, wait, do your own analysis, and then come back and do the windows separately, you could ask to do that too.
Okay. All right.
What would you like to do?
I'd like to amend it for now and ask for vinyl windows.
You want vinyl in?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so vinyl windows is what he's asking.
Okay. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Madison Historic District Board of Review deny a certificate of appropriateness to Brian Marshall for the proposed addition 8 feet by 24 feet to the southeast corner of the structure using vinyl windows, standing seam roof, and fiberglass door, located at 411 Dow Street.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, so just to make sure the board understands what they are, you know, when you make a motion to approve or not approve. If you approve, you are approving to deny the application. If you do not approve, that means you are voting to approve the application as amended. Does everybody understand what their vote would mean? Okay. All right.
Thomas Stark,
I do not approve. Right?
If you
Is
do
that what
not,
you said?
if you do not approve, that means that you are approving
Gotcha.
the amended application.
I approve.
Okay.
Owen McCall,
Approve.
Mike Pittman,
Do not approve.
and Josh Wilbur.
Approved. So what that means, Brian, is that you actually will get your COA in the mail because there has to be 4 votes in to disapprove an application. It's because there was only 3 instead of 4. Your certificate of appropriateness will be permitted and approved, and you'll get that in the mail, and you can begin construction as soon as you have all the proper building permits as well. So it is approved as it was amended, okay?
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Brian, appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, our next application is at 118 Ferry Street. You've waited very patiently.
Hi, my name is Sarah Renfro. I'm at 9901 South State Road 129 in Cross Plains.
All right, thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
Give me just a second, we'll come back to you. All right, Brooke?
The circa 1890 no style, non-contributing zoned historic district residential. I do want to note that I do disagree with the NHL date on this property. I've been out to the home, obviously not done destructive methods, but looking at it, doing some more research. This property does not show up on the 1911 Sanborn map at all, and the 1927 Sanborn maps shows a clearly different structure here. I'm guessing the age to be around mid-century, you know, give or take 10 years or so. Just for your information, I thought I would throw that out there. The COA request is to remove an extra door on the bottom and top unit and replace with siding, replacing all windows with new vinyl windows. And you can see photos of the property. On the rear, which would be the north side, the picture on the left does show one vinyl window that had been previously installed prior to the application. On the right, showing some of the casement windows that are existing on the structure now. Another vinyl that had been put in. And then this would be an idea of what they are actually asking to do. And that's all I have.
It's like a smiley face.
I know.
So, Sarah, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, sure. So we purchased this property in November of last year. It is like a small apartment complex. It was previously 4 studio apartment units, and then there's like the little one over here is like an add-on, and that is currently a studio apartment right now also. So the 4 studios, that's why it has the 4 doors. It is no longer that. The previous owner had already converted it to 3 units. So it's a total of 3 units right now. So the unit on the top, the unit on the bottom, and the little bitty unit over here, that is still the studio. So right now the other ones are actually both 1-bedroom apartments is what that is right now. So we still have a tenant in the upstairs and the little room, so we don't in the bottom. So we started to try to remodel the bottom unit. It needed a lot of updating to it, and then finding that we wanted to go ahead and, take out that extra door that each unit has on the bottom and the top now, because it's not a practical usable door anymore. It actually is just part of their bedroom. And we wanted to go ahead and on the front, do the hardy board plank across the whole front of the building and leave the three sides, the stucco building. It currently does have the vinyl windows right now, so we were just going to plan to update them to, some newer vinyl windows in there, so that's kind of the gist of
So
it.
currently has vinyl, it currently had vinyl before you put even these newer vinyl in?
And the windows that you've got circled here that you want to replace, are you planning on replacing those with the same type of window or
Yes.
different look?
No, same type,
Okay.
they slide.
So these
open.
are just malfunctioning?
They're just kind of older, we were just going to update them to some newer ones. And the one in the living room is a little bit larger than the one in the bedroom, so we were wanting to get, them the same sizes also, just to
Gotcha.
have a better look to it.
Any other questions from the board?
Let's see. No, I don't.
I think you mentioned that you're going to reface the facade, the front facade with hardy board. Are you planning on doing that on the other three sides?
No, we're gonna keep the stucco on the other three sides.
Okay.
Cause right now, you can't see it in this picture, but there's siding on the little one with the studio, and the other ones, there's like different building materials on them, so again, we're looking for a more symmetrical,
Consistent
consistent
look.
look.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I do have a picture of the stucco you can kind of see.
So you're going to stucco in above that door then to blend it in
Yes.
with the rest?
Correct.
Okay.
So that actually had a, window air conditioner in there, so
Mm.
we were taking the window air conditioner out and updating to the new HVAC stuff.
Okay.
And what's your doors are made out of what?
Right now, they're just steel doors.
But you are you're putting in new doors, right?
No, we're just want to eliminate the extra doors.
Yeah, there's.
Oh,
And that's
take
where
them away.
we're just
And then
gonna
they
do
put
it, redo the front and party board.
Right, I
Then
see.
put siding in place of it.
Because you're going from 4 units in the main part of the building to 2.
Now, it's already done that. It
Yeah.
already is like
You
that.
don't need that second door.
Exactly, it's not
Yeah.
practical.
Any other questions? Any questions from the public? Concerns? All right, hearing none. Mike, you want to take us through finding that?
Doors and entrances. Doors are often building central visual elements, and we've got plenty of those, and are particularly important features. Historic doors, which these are not, well, do we consider mid-century historic now or not?
Technically, yes, but it falls outside of our period of significance for the NHL district.
Good, then
So,
I'm not historic then. That's good, I'm mid-century. Okay. Replacement doors should be of wood. It really doesn't apply to this because this is not a historic property really, under our guidelines. Deteriorated, damaged doors should be repaired. I don't believe that's an issue with these. Again, these are not historic doors. Missing or severely damaged doors, again, doesn't apply to this. Replacement doors may be of painted, paneled wood with or without signal or multiple clear glass openings. So you're going to use, you're not really replacing doors, are you?
No, we're just eliminating.
Just eliminating, so that doesn't really apply to that.
that is it.
Okay. Siding, exterior siding materials such as weatherboard, clapboard shingles, and or board and batten cladding are essential components defining a building structure and architectural character. Synthetic sidings do not successfully imitate the original siding dimensions or texture. Use of these materials may not be cost effective compared to continual maintenance and painting of the original siding, especially as there are potential structural problems inherent in reuse on historic buildings, of which this is not. Original wood, weatherboard, clapboard shingles, and board and batten should be maintained. These exteriors should be replaced only if necessary. deteriorated wood siding should be repaired or replaced with wood siding to match original. Replacement should be the most rock-resistant wood available, since you're using party board. That is probably the most resistant material you can put on that dude, because you're right up from the river. It's a good thing to use, so. But it will not float, remember that.
Good point.
So, I think that she meets all the findings of fact.
Owen?
I agree for the same reasons.
Tom?
I agree for the same reasons.
And I too agree for the same reasons. I also would say on the windows that I don't think we had that on there, but they were.
It's not, I have it here, but.
But you had vinyl windows there already, and our findings of fact normally say you can replace with like material that's already there.
Yeah.
Because it was already there, normally that's when we, give more allowance to that. But yes,
If I may speak up, the size of some of the windows are changing, and not all windows are vinyl.
thought,
Most are.
I think with the size situation, I think you want to make it consistent, and I think that's will make the
I thought they were
appearance.
consistent with what was asked, okay.
No, it's a little wider. The one they put in was a little bit larger than the other ones,
Okay.
so we're just gonna match the newest one.
But it
up,
was
the new one.
already there, so whatever they put in, you're matching what was put in.
Yeah,
Okay.
So you are making it more consistent.
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna make them all four the
Does
same.
the board have any questions about that? Do you want to change your opinion on whether it meets findings of fact
No, I
based on
think,
that?
I think it all makes finding fact.
All right, I just want to make sure that we got on record. So with that, I also still agree, that it's with that. All right, accept a motion.
I move that, I was like, didn't bring my copy. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to Sarah Renfro for her building at 118 Ferry Street, where she is planning to close one entrance and cover it with hardy board, putting hardy board on the front the front side and leaving the other three sides as
Oh, and make that two.
It's
Two
sides.
entrances.
It's
One up
two
the back and
entrances,
one
I'm
down.
sorry, okay.
and that two entrances will be closed up. Hardy board on the front side, leaving the stucco on the other sides, and vinyl windows.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Brooke?
Thomas Stark,
Approve.
Josh Wilbur,
Approved.
Owen McCall,
Approve.
and Mike Pittman.
Approve.
All right, Sarah, with that, you will get a certificate of appropriateness in the mail. You can begin construction or complete as you have a building permit in place. You're good?
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we finish our applications. Is there any old business? Any new business? All right, we'll do staff approvals.
Alright, so the March, fast track applications, Bill Hyday at 223 West Second Street, replaced a rear door. David Cheatham, obviously this one now is, void, but an 815, 817, West Second Street to replace the roof, repair and replace siding, repair and replace windows. Brian Marshall at 411 Dowell Street to replace siding, roof, and windows. Sarah Renfro at 118 Ferry Street to replace the siding. Sarah Gray at 312 West 3rd Street to install 2 awnings over our rear patio doors and install siding on the gable peak of garage. And then Paul and Teresa Walters at 618 East 2nd Street to install a 5-inch by 10-inch bronze sign by the front door. And then our 2021 COA review, Madison Pilgrim Holiness Church at 1016 Park Avenue. This is the parsonage, not the church, to install a wood shed. That was never done. The same church at 1004 Park Avenue, this is the church building, received a COA to demolish the cinder block chimney, but to save the other chimneys. They demolished all chimneys.
Do we have an update on this?
No, from my understanding, Devin did send a letter. I have not heard any response or any updates on that. as of
Okay,
yet.
so we have just for public knowledge, we have had an attorney send a letter in their violation of the certificate of appropriateness and are waiting a response back from them.
Are there next steps?
There will be, but we gotta wait on giving them enough opportunity for a response
Okay.
before we can take any next steps.
Brian Martin, I apologize, but I put all three of these on the same, category because they're basically all three the same. So 819, 23, and 25
Yeah.
was First Street to build a wooden rear deck. Those are all in progress. L&L Properties at 1012 West Main Street to build a garage and shed-style carport at Rio Home. That has not been done or started. And then same owner, 1018 West Main Street, to replace the roof and windows and then enclose a portion of the side porch. That as well has not been done. In my discussion with the owner on that property on 1018, I believe they are developing different plans at this point.
Okay. So there's no reason to even consider extending this then?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And then Matthew Benzer at 1213 West Main Street, to build a front porch, and that is in progress.
Okay.
And that is all I have.
Any questions for Brooke? All right, I think that's it then. All right, I'll accept the motion to dismiss.
A motion to adjourn.
There you go.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 There we go, we're good.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
On the road again?
I know that's spring it's not bad.
I was never reading. My legs are right in there.
Uh,
I could not walk.
I know.
I thought, what in the world did I do to myself? Here, you want to turn the homework in?
Yes, sir.